Yo, what up gamers, I'm Dark, and today we're going to be reviewing one of RNG, well, not RNG anymore, but Uzi's Ezreal games. So we're going to be starting off with an early fight here in the enemy jungle / river. One thing to note is that Ezreal is super good in level 1 fights. I'm pretty sure his level 1 DPS is like completely unmatched by anybody else in the ADC role. Even Draven doesn't do as much like just straight up damage in level 1 fights as Ezreal does, once Ezreal gets some stacks going on his passive. As long as he hit every Q at least. So gonna be a real extended fight here. Also worth noting that he's running lethal tempo here, so I wouldn't really recommend that on Ezreal usually. I think first strike is much better. But definitely gonna be putting in a lot of work in this level 1 fight. Granting a lot of attack speed and a lot of range. So that's gonna be 3 kills for Uzi's team, 1 kill for Uzi himself. Oh, okay. I was gonna say 1 kill for the enemy team, but no, that's 2 now. So Uzi currently sitting on 358 gold. Not quite gonna be worth just recalling for a longsword since this fight was so extended. But looks like he's gonna start shoving very early on. He might just be looking to instantly back. Cause he can just straight up get a tier the moment he gets into base if he just shoves 1 wave. So obviously it's probably not gonna be ideal to just shove that 1 wave. He's also gonna have to go for this second wave shove. But that's fine, so long as he's not having to shove a kind of wave. Mind you, the way he's just like going for poke here makes me think that he's not actually gonna do that. If he just wanted to shove the wave, he would have just kept using Q on the wave. I think he's just pushing just to play aggressively. Doesn't actually want to back just yet. Yeah, as you can see, he's just focused more on the poke actually right now. Maybe just wanted to get some solo XP then. Kill some minions before Nami arrives. Or maybe just wanted to get control over the wave and start poking them with their turret as soon as possible. Yeah, if this were you, I think it would be perfectly fine to just shove like 1 or 2 waves and then just immediately back. Doing some tier stacks as fast as possible can be good. But Uzi is definitely more of an aggressive type of player. Doesn't want to let up pressure if he doesn't have to. Yeah, so notice as Rel goes for these relic stacks, he's just trying to auto-attack her as much as possible. The lower Rel is, or the lower this bot lane is in general, the less effective they're gonna be in an all-in. And pretty much all-inning is pretty much the only thing they can do. So during their downtime where they can't engage, you want to try and poke them down to be as low as possible. That's also why they're playing so defensively right now. They know that they need to wait for their opening in this kind of matchup. They can't just be trying to match trades against the Ezreal Nami. They just need to wait for a moment where they can actually just find a full engage and just straight up try and kill them. Yep, seems like they found an engage. Also going to be a Lee gank. Uzi holding onto the E for now. Uses it now. Skips from the Lee. Yeah, didn't just immediately out. He just started to put out some damage onto the enemy team, and then was trying to present himself as a target for like the Lee or the Samira, because Nami's pretty fucked there usually if they just focus her. So like by providing some or like diverting some focus onto himself. While knowing that he can also just survive still because he's got E anyway. Might potentially save Nami if they fuck up, if they misplay and actually focus Uzi too much there. But unfortunately it doesn't work out, Nami still dies, but pretty much no consequence to Uzi. So actually, interestingly, just gonna back here without shoving this wave. It's pretty... It makes a lot of sense though, because... from that position, it's really hard to shove. You're Ezreal, you don't have early wave clear besides Q. The wave is all the way to like to your side of the lane. If he were to try and shove this wave, he would have to do it. Like the wave would still be in the lane by the time Samir and Rel get back into lane. And they've already bought items as well, so they could very easily try and just all in. So by backing here, he misses some CS, sure, while he goes for that back. But he gets here, and now he's got the items to fight back against Samir or Rel. He's not just stuck in this lane, trying to get a shove that he might not be able to finish. Sometimes you just gotta concede. Oh, okay, hang on. Ooh, okay, Uzi trying to put out as much damage into Samir as possible. And notice that he's only focusing Samir here, by the way. Does not focus this support at all. Even if Raul was in his range first, he just immediately goes on Samir because he knows Samir has to be following up. And Samir is the target that really matters here. If Samir is low, then Samir can't DPS. And now, as you can see, the lane, because Nami actually survived, the lane is in a really good spot because during that all-in, Samir fell really low, and because they were focusing Ezreal, Ezreal has just been chilling. Sorry, because they were focusing Nami. Yeah, as I was saying before anyway, sometimes you just gotta concede that you're not gonna get a good back and just try and take a back that's like as least bad for you as possible. That's what the back for Uzi was there. When he just backed in front of his turret. Sure, not the greatest wave state, but at that point you just gotta admit that if the enemy jungler is just ganked you and your supporters just died, you're not gonna be able to get the back on your own terms. 99% of the time if the enemy doesn't misplay, so just try and minimize your losses at that point. And it's much better to back before you hand over the enemy a free freeze. But anyway, yeah, at the moment the enemy bot is stuck in a really bad spot ever since that all-in failed to kill anybody. So Nami just gets the heal back up. Ezreal is always going to be healthy as well, thanks to Nami. They don't have as much sustain. Once they fail on all-in, or they fail to get a kill or take a bad trade, they're just kind of stuck in that position for a while, unless they can just kill you from lower HP. But yeah, Samira, because of Ezreal's efforts, was just way too low right after that all-in. So they've just been kind of stuck in this position where they're not going to be able to do anything until the next back. Samira has a Vamp Scepter, but it's not really going to help much. So Rel is backed. Rel is back to full HP. Rel is actually useful now, but her ADC, not so much. They get a gank there, but, you know, still not going to be able to do anything. As you can see, Rel back to half HP. They're stuck. They can't do anything until they back. They have to. They're basically in the same spot that Uzi was earlier, where they need to back. They're not going to be able to back on their own terms. They need to just bite the bullet at some point and just go ahead and back. They're going to lose farm for it. It is what it is. Go ahead and back. Get your HP back. Try again. You're not going to be able to fight them on that HP. Anyway, Uzi gonna back here, running out of mana. He's got plenty of gold for the Manamune. I think that's actually just gonna be just enough gold for the Manamune, actually. I can't see the wave state on the map, but I'm guessing if the next mini wave was a cannon wave. Yeah, okay, so that was a cannon wave, perfect. So it's especially good to back if the wave that's incoming is a cannon wave, because it takes the enemy team, or the enemy bot lane, a much longer time to shove in that wave compared to if it weren't a cannon wave. And then as you see here, this wave will crash into the turret. One melee will die, but that's it. Because then the turret will focus the cannon, and the cannons take forever to die to turrets. They take 50% reduced damage from turrets. As you can see, it just backs there without forcing them back from the enemy team. And they get to shove in the wave, but even while they shove in the wave, they still only get to shove... they still only get to deny once yes from Uzi, which is nothing. Now I'm gonna start immediately shoving again, and hopefully... Like, Samira's gonna miss basically just as much farm from this series of events as Uzi did, even though she backed later. Probably gonna miss at least one CS, but maybe even more, since there's no cannon to protect that wave. We won't get to see it on the map, unfortunately. Yeah, Uzi just going for the Scuttle Crab here. It's really good. There's no chance the enemy Lee is gonna interrupt or anything while there's this fight going on. There's just gonna be a free influx of gold. Missed one melee for that, but that's fine. You get more XP and you get like 80 more gold for a Scuttle Crab than you do for a melee, so... Okay, gonna be setting up the wave for a freeze, seemingly. Although he's hitting the wave a bit, maybe. It does seem like he wants to freeze. Or at the very least, he just wants the waves to be... Yeah, okay, he doesn't actually quite want to freeze, but he does want this wave, or both waves to be like really close to his side of the map. This makes it harder for Rel and Samira to engage. Well, once Rel actually makes it back into the lane, since she was part of that topside river fight. As you can see, Samira has to like really walk up really far as well to last hit here. But again, notice that it wasn't a freeze. He could have chosen to freeze if he wanted to, but not going for that. He's just setting up a really big crash. And obviously that also, if you're setting up a crash, it also really helps if the wave starts on your side of the map compared to theirs. Or compared to the middle. Because there's just a longer distance for the mini waves to travel towards the turret, and it gives them more time to stack up another wave. Okay, so that buys them some time to get some vision. Not actually going to pressure too much with it though. Just going to start shoving the next wave immediately. Okay, gonna be failed engage from the enemy ball in there. As you can see, again, just immediately starts focusing the Samira. This is a really big risk of these kind of bot lanes where obviously the Nami is really squishy, right? She should be an easy kill. She is really easy to kill. But if you actually all in the Nami and you don't kill her, then it is a disaster. Because the Ezreal is just DPSing you the whole time. Oof. Okay, gonna be a death for Uzi there. The Ezreal is just DPSing you the whole time, and by the end of the fight, you failed to kill their support, and now the Ezreal has been DPSing the Samira the entire time. Now, one ADC is super low, and one ADC is super high HP. Even forgetting about the Nami sustain, who do you think wins out there? The ADC every time. The high HP ADC every time. Because he still gets the DPS now in future fights and in future trades. Meanwhile, the low HP ADC just can't do anything on low HP. Pretty much fucked until their next back. It's not necessarily the wrong move to focus Nami in these kind of situations as Samira Rel, especially because the Ezreal is really slippery. You're going to have a tough time actually trying to catch him out. But, you know, it comes with big risk. If you fail it, terrible. If you don't die, you're still going to be fucked for the rest of the laning phase until you back. And so unfortunately, that's what keeps happening for Samira Rel here. They keep just barely not killing Nami. And even if they were to kill her, actually it just keeps taking so long for it even to get to that stage. In the meantime, Ezreal just keeps providing so much DPS onto Samira. You need to be sure that you're just gonna like one-shot the support immediately. So then you can start turning onto the Ezreal immediately after. If you're just taking like 5 seconds to kill Nami, that's not good. You only win that fight if Ezreal is just brain dead and not actually DPSing. Pretty nice though that Ezreal's Q actually applies lethal tempo. Or stacks it up rather. So you can definitely stack it really fast at least. Still not convinced that it makes it better than First Strike. But I mean, if you're using Conqueror still, Lethal Tempo might be a good alternative to Conqueror. Yeah, so overall being half HP here just doesn't really matter too much, because, you know, as you've seen, in every single fight, Uzi is focusing Samira. And it's what he needs to do in order to actually win the fights. What matters the most is what Samira's HP is. But we're all gonna back there anyway. And that's just gonna be a free turret for Uzi. So definitely gonna be able to pick up Sheen here. Actually, interesting that he didn't go for the Sheen earlier. He went for the Ionians before that. Most people just definitely prioritize Sheen. But it's clear, obviously, that Uzi just values the CDR very highly. Definitely means that you're less punished for missing a Q, though, if you're prioritizing CDR on Ezreal. Okay, nice harass onto Samira, doesn't react in time with the W. Now he's gonna be trying to all in her, and this might be a kill. Okay, there's a mini wave in the way, unfortunately. Even with Samira on that HP, he probably doesn't win a fight if he can't actually hit Qs through the wave. But now it's in a much better spot, as you can see. Gonna be able to go for that. Not even gonna throw the Q here. Very well played there. Samira basically has to try and juke the Q, and if you don't throw the Q, then you can just keep chasing her down with autos. And if you can see that she's not juking, then you throw the Q when it's guaranteed. Otherwise, you don't bother throwing the Q if you don't need to use it. If you can just keep chasing them down with auto attacks and kill them with auto attacks, that's the best. You only want to throw the Q after they're out of your range. Just gonna be rotating over here to the mid lane. I think the mid lane turret is down, right? Can't tell. Unfortunately, by the way, it's not me covering the map, guys. I'm literally covering Uzi's camera. So okay, we see the turret. Yeah, so Uzi's camera is covering the map, and I'm covering Uzi's camera. I'm just saying, I'm not the bad guy here. Pick it up with Uzi. Yeah, just gonna be pushing the turret here, shoving in waves. No point staying bot if you don't have to, once the turret is down, so you can actually keep trying to go for objectives. Because obviously, if you rotate mid and your support goes with you... They're gonna be a call? Nah. Yeah, if you stay mid and your support goes with you, then 2v1 you're gonna be able to get a turret much more easily than your mid laner is going to be 1v1, you know? So that forces a rotation from the enemy team as well, usually. They're gonna be backing here, presumably already has the Triforce. Oh, actually not even going for Triforce. Just going for the Sunderer. I feel like Triforce is generally better on Ezreal these days. But not everybody does that. I think the majority of people still use the Sunderer. Still definitely gonna be the safest option anyway. Gonna keep you tank here. You definitely do a lot more damage with Triforce. So notice that he's just taking the small raptors there, so... one thing that people kind of tend to overlook is that there's a bonus for junglers if they're the one that takes the camp, as opposed to like a laner. Their jungle item gives them extra XP on camps, but that only applies to the big monster. So, for the small raptors, or the small wolves, or the small krugs, there is no bonus for being a jungler for taking those. So when it comes to the small raptors, you know, just any like small creeps on any camps. Okay, hang on, let's just... Ooh, that Nami heal coming in clutch. Okay, nice, well played. Okay, yeah, so when it comes to the small creeps of any jungle camp, rather than just like saying, okay, this is the jungle, so all camps should go to the jungler. At that point, you should just be thinking, who's gonna use this gold better, me or Nocturne? Or who's gonna use this XP better, me or Nocturne? So obviously, the jungler is gonna say me, the ADC is gonna say me. You know, that's just standard League of Legends egos. But I mean, really, usually you would want like more gold and XP on the carry, right? And at the very least, your jungler should basically never be mad at you just taking small creeps. Even if they're like about to farm the camp themselves, there's pretty much no downside to the ADC just taking that instead of the jungler. You're gonna be grabbing double longsword here. Could be going towards Serylda's Grudge, could be going towards Ravenous Hydra. We'll have to wait and see. You know, I forget about these X-Light gates way too much. I almost never use them in my own games. And in case you're wondering what runes he's using, I can pretty much guess. He had cookies earlier, so he's using Biscuit. Delivery, didn't have free boots, so he's probably... must mean that he's got Cosmic Insight. And he's using Lethal Tempo, which means he should have Presence of Mind, Legend Bloodline, and either Cut Down or Coup de Grace. Probably Cut Down. Especially against the small fight and Rel. Okay, so just staying mid here, making sure that he gets the first shove on this next wave. Keeping prow for his enemy team. For his team, sorry. Now that they've shoved the wave first, now they just get to rotate to wherever they want, or they just get the back if he wants to do that. So probably actually going to be getting the Lost Whisper for sure, looking at Malphite's build, now that I see that he's got a ton of armor. Now going to be headed mid unless there's somebody already farming mid. If there is, then he might head over top instead, but yeah, there's nobody mid. So just going to be able to farm that wave uncontested. If you were playing this in one of your own solo queue games and, you know, the mid laner is mid, as they typically are, then at that point you just shove in a side wave, or maybe even 2 side waves if it's safe, then you rotate back mid. You want to avoid sharing farm with your teammates as much as possible. Okay, yeah, he can sense the trap there. Samira's like really badly positioned, just making herself really free for an Ezreal E. Oh. Okay, gonna take the bait on purpose, bidding a good fight here. Okay. Ooh, probably should have just ran away, but probably was gonna die there no matter what. That was overall really well played. Managed to put out a lot of damage there while being focused pretty heavily. Ooh, actually currently sitting at about 11 CS per minute actually. That's really impressive. Ezreal is actually one of the champions that I struggle to farm on the most on ADC. I don't know why. Because he's got no wave clear, I guess. Yeah, going for that Serylda grabs the Caulfields. So obviously a very good item on Ezreal. Makes it a lot easier to hit your skill shots too. If you hit one, then you can hit the rest too. By skill shots I just mean basically your Q. Okay, so shoves in a mid wave. Now looks to rotate to a side, see what he can do. But always shoving in that mid wave first. Okay, gonna be a Drake for his team. Just shoving in another wave just because he can. Even if there's something going on mid lane, very unlikely to require his attention. If it does, well, he's probably not going to be there in time anyway. Yeah, as you can see, his team just won the fight anyway. He was not needed at all, so he just gets to keep shoving a bottom lane wave in. Just going to leave it at that though, already has enough for Serylda's. Maybe he could have actually got the bull in turret. I don't know if the inner turret is still there or not though. But pretty much everybody in the enemy team was dead, so if the one person alive wasn't defending bot, he could have probably just gone for that turret if it was up. But just choosing to go for the Serylda straight away, making sure he's got that power spike for the next fight. Aww. See, that's an asshole move. That's a lot worse than just stealing those small creeps. And the Scuttle Crab actually does give extra XP at least to the jungler. I don't know about gold. Okay, gonna be able to do a lot of damage with the Malphite here. A lot of damage into everybody. Ooh, jumping onto the Victor, but I'm not sure he wanted to do that. Pulling a double lift. Had the exhaust though, I think. Maybe he could have used that, unless I only just came up. I think maybe he just wasn't expecting Victor to turn so fast. So currently still sitting at over 10 assists per minute, despite gathering up some deaths now. Also grabbing another Caulfield. This one, I imagine we'll probably build into Ravenous Hydra. So since the mid wave is already pushed, no, actually, he's still gonna go shove that mid wave. But it was already gonna be pushing for his team anyway, so it wasn't too important. But if he's got nothing better to do, may as well grab that wave. Yeah, that should be a free kill on Vector. Grabs it with the ult, doesn't even have to jump through. Making sure he's really well positioned here, by the way. He was really safe while putting in damage and making sure that he didn't get CC'd by Brawl there. Was also not in position for Malphite. Exhausts the Samira here as she exhausts him, so Samira is not gonna be able to do much there. And Uzi's able to take her down. Really good he had exhaust there, otherwise he would have just died really fast to her. Kept him alive long enough for him to be able to put out his DPS. It's only gonna be him and Nocturne alive, but that should just be a free Baron. They don't need any more than 2 people for this. Actually gonna ult the mid wave, I think, for some CS. Or just to shove the wave. Oh, actually going for whatever that item is called, Chempunk something. Yeah, I guess that's also an option if you need anti-heal. Obviously going to be better than Mortal Reminder for Ezreal since he doesn't use crit. Yeah, it doesn't use crit well. Oh. That was risky. They did not realize Ezreal was doing that, otherwise they would have punished that a lot harder. But able to bait there really well with the ultimate. Since they tried to punish it too late. Really well played there. Really fast reaction onto the Malphite ult too. They're gonna be able to grab that Drake Soul as well, apparently, his team. Gonna be that Hextech Soul. Won't be too useful in Ezreal, unfortunately, because he's already got a slow from Serylda's anyway, but doesn't hurt. Able to put out so much damage with those Qs. You can see this Serylda's is putting in a lot of work too. It's making it harder and harder for the enemy team to dodge his Qs if he's already hit one. Gonna be able to slowly whittle down the lead there and survive afterwards. Beautiful. Alright, so that was Uzi's Ezreal. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. Feel free to leave a comment for the algorithm if you want to help me out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, gamers.